That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I am Sid Part 2, and I'm actually editing this on my laptop because my my desktop computer is like just packed right now with a render job I'm working on. I finally get to talk about this. I've been working on this stuff all month, but I'm doing some animations for Geekvolution for different shows they're doing now, and I'm really excited that people are actually going to get to see my stuff. So if you see like a really cool CGI intro or something on there, that's all me. Anyway, there's one thing in the thumbnail that is not going to be in this video. Well, I mean, it's in this video because it's right here, but I'm not going to be talking about it this week or next week or on this show at all. Wonder Woman Earth 1 is a book I'm actually very excited for, but I'm also very excited to announce that I talked with Steve and Alex, the superhero enthusiast who now no longer has a channel. I talked to them, and we're going to be reviewing in one episode of Geeky Gentleman all the Earth 1 books. So that's not going to be like this Friday or posted this Sunday or anything. We still got to get together and do that, but it should be either the end of April or early May that you should see that episode come out. So I'm very excited to announce that, and I'm just really excited to read this. Grant Morrison writing Wonder Woman, that put him on the list of one of the only writers to write all of the Trinity really, really well, if this turns out to be good. I don't want to prejudge it, but I mean, it's Grant Morrison. So anyway, I'm really excited for that. I'm a little curious about the art. Maybe that's just the cover. Let me just real quick, open it up and look at the art, because I'm curious if the art style mimics the style in the other two Earth 1 books or not. And no, it definitely does not. It's not as, like, I wouldn't call this cover cartoony, but it's certainly not as realistic as the other ones. It's not as cartoony as the cover, but it's not quite the same art style, which I don't know, I'm okay with. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I just wanted to announce that real quick, and let's actually talk about books that I do have to talk about this week after I take a drink. So here was a series that I was really, really excited for. Past tense. Unfortunately. You know, I get what he's trying to go for here, but I just do not, right off the bat, I do not like this approach very much at all. So, like, they talk about how Wakanda's kind of been humbled a bit by invasions from Thanos and, a coup orchestrated by Doctor Doom. And so they're not like the unconquered nation anymore. Which, right off the bat, seems interesting but problematic to me. The thing that's so intrinsically attractive and awesome about Black Panther and Wakanda is it is the unconquered nation. Not just the unconquered African nation, though that's a large part of it too, but it's just the unconquered nation that's a utopia ruled by a minority people. Or ruled by a non-Caucasian people, because, I mean, they're not minority. It's a funny world we live in when we use words. You realize how intrinsically, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say racist, but intrinsically beneficial or serving of Caucasian culture our languages. So anyway, you have Black Panther #1, and you have like this, the nation's like not on its knees, but it's having a hard time. It's definitely not in its former glory. But maybe it is on its knees. I mean, you open your book with that panel, and it's T'Challa, thinking about how much of a failure he has been lately. And this is the book that we're going into right before Civil War comes out. And that makes me worried. I had my problems with the Jack Kirby Black Panther, but the concept was dead on. This seems to kind of be losing the concept. Don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people that go, Superman always has to be, the most morally right person, or Wonder Woman always has to be standing for peace and prosperity, because that can get boring if they are completely unshakable, if there's no stakes, if I know every time Superman's gonna swoosh in, save the day, and everyone's gonna be happy, or Wonder Woman's always gonna find the perfect solution that makes everyone happy. That can be problematic. So I'm perfectly fine with throwing challenges at T'Challa, at Wakanda as a nation, and seeing if they can be the ultimate people that they've claimed to be, or not. And seeing if they can get through those obstacles and overcome those and still be the people they claim to be. That was one thing I really liked about the first arc the Finches did in Wonder Woman, and certainly it got off after that, but I really like the idea of, well, you're the god of war now, Wonder Woman, so you can't just be Wonder Woman. You have these things that are intrinsically related to war that are now a part of your nature. How are you going to deal with that? That's really fascinating, really interesting stuff. And it could have been handled better. It was set up to be handled really well, and then it just kind of... Donna Troy was the part that I really liked, and then... Seriously, after Donna Troy escaped that book. But anyway, we're talking about Black Panther. So I don't have a problem with setting that up. But I guess I have a problem with... There is absolutely no indication that he is going to get through this. Yet. Not only is he unsure of himself, not only is T'Challa unsure of himself, everyone is unsure. Everyone is just, it's a powder keg. They're all grasping and moving in different directions of what Wakanda should be or can be or whatever. This book opens with T'Challa trying to give, a speech to the miners at the vibranium mound. And they riot and attack him, and there's, calls for liberation. They call him the Orphan King. And it's ultimately all because of some villain that apparently has the ability to tap into and make people more aware of those kinds of feelings. And she's working for the Nigandian, which I think, if I remember correctly, is the neighboring country to Wakanda. So obviously there's kind of these external forces pushing at Wakanda's people and at their leaders and stuff. But at the same time, you have a member of the Royal Guard breaking her lover out of prison because her lover killed someone. And the guy certainly deserved it. But... it's that idea of murder is not justice. The state decides what justice is. And you can certainly disagree with that all you'd like. But I mean, it's comic books. You have T'Challa, who's a character that is a head of state, so that intrinsically makes him different than any other superhero. I wonder if T'Challa has a no-kill rule, because, who else is it up to besides him? Um, just throwing that one out there. Anyway, yeah, that situation is really, it's kind of got me on edge, and I just don't know how to feel about it. It does legitimately bother me, though, that there's so much pushing against him, and maybe he's gonna struggle through it and overcome it, and show people that, you know, our ways are truly the right ways. We're gonna have struggles, we're gonna have trials and tribulations, but as long as we stick to our values, we will be able to overcome them. We will be triumphant again. Maybe it's problematic because I don't think this guy has written comics before. Maybe he's having a hard time displaying that. He's written a novel, or a autobiography, I think. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll improve. This is a really rocky way to start, with Wakanda on the verge of revolution and not spending really any time at all with T'Challa. To get to have a reason why he should be considered, you know, the correct alternative to this violent uprising. I didn't want to be this on the fence about this book before I even started it, and I was really excited to pick it up today. And just right off the bat, I was uncomfortable, and just as I kept going, it kept getting worse, and that's all intentional, but I don't know anything about this writer. I don't know how well he's going to be able to tie this all together and make it work. I certainly hope that's the case, but we'll see. So there was a really, really long time on a single issue. Just real quick, the art does look really good. You know, considering that this is spun out of Jack Kirby, I'm really impressed with some of the geometrics that they put on it. Particularly, like, looks like Wakandans have this kind of composite helmet stuff that comes together to form their headpieces, because there's the exact same situation that's going on in this panel. This panel happens later on with another headpiece, so I like the way that the intricacies of that design and stuff. It looks really cool. So the art is highly inspired by Jack Kirby. I thought this title page was an interesting choice. The only other thing I'd seen do that published by Marvel was the Vader Down story arc. So that was kind of a neat title page, and then you got, like I say, more of the tribalistic geometric kind of work there. So it's a neat tribute to Jack Kirby. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm not losing faith in it yet. I mean, the cover is flags burning, so I should have maybe picked up on that a little bit sooner, but we'll see what happens as it goes along. I forgot I even had this. Which isn't, you know, the kindest thing you can say about something in between issues. But I did enjoy it. It's just not a lot is happening yet. It's just kind of, you know, oh, the Marines are out in the jungle and the Predator shows up. Great. It's not like we've never seen that in 2 Predator movies. So I don't know, the Predator's kind of showing up and just taking them out one at a time. It looks like the Predators maybe crashed on this planet. And are dealing with it. Is it just me, or does that Predator look more like Nightmare from the Ghost Rider or no, Blackheart? Yeah, Blackheart in the Ghost Rider comics than it does like a Predator. Just in that panel. Anyway. Admittedly similar-ish designs. I don't know. It's just kind of... I'm kind of on the fence about it right now. It's pretty basic Predator storytelling, and I don't know, just that can get old after a while. I'd prefer something that's a little more clever. One thing that's weird is a Marine kills one of the Predators, and then other Predators show up and seem like they're about to attack him, which traditionally is not the way it works. Usually when you kill a Predator, you get a weapon. I mean, if it was hunting you. I guess this is a hunting party situation, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Hard to say. Yeah, we have Space Marines versus Predators. That's what's going on right now. Looks like they might not have the shoulder cannons. So that actually kind of puts the Predators at a disadvantage. Because I've not seen one used yet. And they usually they'll usually not use them until someone starts using a projectile weapon like a bow or a gun or something. If you have the time, I'll leave a link to it in the description. Check out the fan film Predator Dark Age, or Dark Ages, something like that. It's really, really cool. It's Predator set in medieval Europe. It's awesome. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this. It's just okay right now. I'm hoping it gets better. Kind of just a typical mishmash of Predator and Alien storytelling tropes that we've seen before. So, what can you do? Wow. My poor computer. I'm chugging frames right now and animating frames. I don't know who's interested in this, but animating CG, you have to render one frame at a time, and then you string all those rendered images together to create the animated film look. And right now, it's taken half an hour to render each frame. You people better like this. Anyway. Poe Dameron, number 1. Star Wars Poe Dameron, number 1. Yay, something set after Return of the Jedi, but before The Force Awakens. So there's no new information-ish. Basically what we got going on here is the lead up to the very first scene in The Force Awakens, with Poe and what's his face on Jakku. That's what this is. This is Leia sending Poe on the mission to go find that guy because he has the map to Luke Skywalker. They're in this weird cave where there's a cult that worships this blue egg thing, and he has to convince them to trust him. And the First Order shows up. They had somehow tracked Poe to that location because they're also looking for the map to Luke Skywalker. So for all those people complaining about not getting the politics or whatever in Force Awakens, here you go. This is the politics. We're finding out more about that. We get the little summation here in the front. To stem the tide of the First Order, a military force aiming in secret to overthrow the New Republic, General Leia Organa has founded the Resistance Movement, looking to expand her forces. Organa has recruited the best pilot in the galaxy, Poe Dameron. So yeah, it's the bare bones of the story. I like Poe. He's written really well. He's funny. He's, nice, charming guy, and he just wants to be everybody's friend. I like that. There's not much else to this. There's a really cool scene with him trying to fly through a door that's slowly closing. It's like you see it closing as like a cave's collapsing behind him. Yes, BB-8, I see that the door is closing. Yes, BB-8, I know that we won't fit. Come on. Okay. We can do this, probably. And then we get like a nice little cut-off panel where we see the plane, or the X-Wing looks like it's right about to smack into that door. Get some flashback stuff, go forward a couple pages. And then gets it through at the last second. Really cool. I also like the design of his the look of his X-Wing. It's like black and got an orange stripe on it. It's just kind of cool design. Everyone else has gray and blue. I don't like it as much. But yeah, here's a pretty good up-close panel for you of the X-Wing. Neat stuff, though. It's just fun so far. There's nothing deep about it. It's pretty much just a setup issue. So yeah, pick it up. If you like Poe Dameron, pick it up. If you like Star Wars and just want to see more stuff that isn't set between episodes 4 and 5, here you go. You know what I'm excited about with this book? Tim Drake's not going to be Batman Beyond anymore. Terry McGinnis is coming back once we get Rebirth. What happens in this? Terry apparently didn't know that the suit had cloaking technology, which is bullshit. Because in the very first issue, he is using the cloaking technology. But, like, the suit gets damaged. So he knows it's there. So I don't understand why the writer thought he could get away with that in here. So how does he survive Bart almost killing him in the last issue? He turned on the cloak and dodged. And she thought she killed him. He and Max free Superman. They destroy... or the device what's-his-face is using to control Superman and the Justice League is destroyed. Superman frees the Justice League goes to Gotham and tells everyone, hey, we need to be friends again. Apparently Superman isn't Clark Kent, his name is John. I don't know. He says, you knew my father, as in Clark Kent. So I don't know what super kid this is. I don't know, there's just kind of like a... Really, trying to bring back the Justice League is so messy right now. Because they had to do so many backflips to get this to work, and it just doesn't. I sincerely hope that DC just tosses out all this ridiculous Tim Drake Batman Beyond stuff. Like I said, I've just not been digging it. If you're a Tim Drake fan... I'm sorry. I really am. Damien's just so much cooler. Dick Grayson went off and became his own thing. Tim Drake's whole thing is Batman needs a Robin, so... Yeah. Tim Drake has just kind of been written out of his usefulness, and, like, he couldn't carry a Batman Beyond book. I don't know what they're gonna do with Tim Drake anymore. I'm sorry, people. He has not been written well in New 52. Maybe he'll get something to do during DC Rebirth. I don't know. I hope so. I'm just excited Terry McGinnis is coming back. I hope we get to where the book was before it got canceled and then brought back and then again. I just hope we get back to that. The last story arc of that book was not fantastic with the whole Mask of the Phantasm thing. But the Brainiac and the Justice Lord stuff was great, so let's get back to that. Anyway, Justice League vs. Teen Titans, gonna be reviewing that this week on Geeky Gentleman. If you'd like to check that out, that'll be up on Sunday. Can you tell I just don't have much to say about this that's, nice? I mean, even the art, I think, looks kind of hooky. Where's that panel of Barda? It just mirrored Barda's abs look like they've been, pasted on or cut out from another drawing or another picture. I don't know. It's so right there and it just doesn't look natural at all. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, Tim Drake. Better luck next time. Last book, single issue at least, of the week is Grant Morrison's 18 Days. Yay! A whole book that was like almost entirely the war. This is exactly what I've been wanting, and it was fucking awesome. So you have Bhima. How do I say these names? Arg. Bhima. Bhima. So hard. It's one of those things. It's just, I don't speak the damn language. So you have this guy just going on a rampage, one-man war on the battlefield, taking out entire battalions by himself. Hi, Danny. Danny has crawled in here from the other room because he heard me talking about comics and he wanted to know about comics as well. So you have Bhima just going on the battlefield all on his own and just taking out entire legions, and it's just a friggin' badass. And then you have Doridana? Sure, let's go with that. You have Doridana, the bad guy of the book, basically, scheming with different mercenaries and kind of like freakish looking warriors and stuff. And he gives Bhima a mute warrior with like these weird cybernetic implants or whatever. Sends him to go fight on the battlefield. And they kind of fight in, almost till the sun goes down. There's just this awesome scene. He cracks me up. Where's it at? Ha ha ha, not that this isn't fun to watch, my dear Bhima, but the sun is about to set. You have mere seconds left if you wish to. What did you call it? Bathe in my blood today, cousin? I'd use them wisely. And so his weapon's on the ground, so he punches the ground and sends it flying through the air straight at Doridina and just cuts his cheek. He's like, kill him! That's awesome. It's just so cool. And then the sun goes down, so they end the fighting for the day honorably. And then there's some other stuff plot-wise in here, but I'm kind of just like, it's not that I don't care, it's just it's not worth talking about yet because nothing's come of it yet. But yeah, I really like this. This is getting really good. Are you gonna crawl on my Wonder Woman book? Thank you for not doing that. And he's off. Yeah. So this is actually pretty good. It's a little iffy, but I think it's best read in sections. What are we at? 10 issues. Read 2 or 3 at a time. 2 or 3 per sitting, you'd probably be pretty good. Some of the flashbacky stuff got a little old, but otherwise, I just really enjoy it. So we got 18-day war is what I'm guessing it's going to be, and we're 3 days in thus far, so and the third day just ended. So anyway, let's move right along. So here's an odd collection. I got this because Steve and I were talking about the story arc Riddle Me That, which is still my absolute favorite Riddler story. And in that video, Steve, at first he really didn't care for the Riddle Me That story arc. He thought it was just kind of, it was interesting, but then he didn't like the ending and stuff. And I kind of won him over by the end of it, really. And I asked him recently how far over I'd won him, and he says it's now his second favorite Riddler story arc. So my question, of course, was, what's your first? And it's Dark Knight, Dark City. Now, before I get into the Riddler stuff, I want to mention that about, I don't even know how much, 3 issues. Okay. That much of it right here is the Riddler stuff. The rest of it, they just collected some Peter Milligan Batman stories. He has a very distinct way of writing Batman. I'll tell you that much from reading all these different stories, and a lot of them are 1 or 2 issue little arcs, and they're fairly good, all things considered. I almost didn't finish reading through them because I got kind of and I'll talk about why. But as I went, they got better and better. Particularly the last 2 stories are utterly fantastic. There are 3 issues in the back, 2 different stories told within them, and those are friggin' great. But let's talk about Dark Knight, Dark City first, the titular thing, because this is what made me pick it up, is a Riddler story. So Peter Milligan writes a pretty, has a lot of supernatural, particularly mystical stuff driving what's going on behind his stories. There is one story in here, in this entire trade, where Batman is not going up against something supernatural. So in the first story, the Riddler has kidnapped 4 children, hypnotized a woman into delivering his riddle and then attempting suicide. Strung a guy up to hang. I mentioned killed a couple people. And kidnapped 4 babies. And is leading Batman, as always, on a chase through the city, trying to figure out what he's got going on. And throughout this, it's intercut with this guy's diary as he talks about, and he also makes Batman kill a dog with a silver knife. As the guy's diary talks about trying to summon a demon in order to control it, but they were unable to finish the ritual because it involved a human sacrifice, and no one had the stones to go through with that. And so the demon remained trapped beneath Gotham for decades, and so that is why that's where you get the Dark City, and then Batman is then the Dark Knight. So what Riddler is doing throughout the entirety of this story is tricking Batman into performing these satanic rituals in order to summon, or in order to regain control of the demon. I really like some of the ideas here. I just have a personal bias that it's hard for me to get over. I don't mind Batman going up against a supernatural threat. It doesn't bother me, because, I mean, when you really get down to it, Ra's al Ghul's a supernatural threat, too. But I still don't love it when he's pitted up against that, because that's just not his element. He can do it. He's capable of it, but it's not his thing. I just feel like I'm more comfortable with it when it's him partnered with someone or whatever. It's just not. It's not my preference for Batman stories. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not the kind of stories with Batman I prefer. I think the biggest problem I have with this story, and as Steve said, it's his favorite Riddler story, is it's almost not a Riddler story. Because at the end, it's revealed that the demon was controlling and manipulating the Riddler to cause him to be more extreme, to get Batman to do all these things. The demon was manipulating him. So really, the Riddler is physically responsible, but it wasn't his idea. He didn't come up with the inspiration to do all this. It was the demon controlling him. And so that's why, far and away, riddle me this, or no, my bad, riddle me that. Shit. What's the name of the story arc? Riddle me this and or that, depending on where my brain is at the moment, is a much better Riddler story, because it is 100% the Riddler. This is the Riddler working through someone else. Or no, wait. Someone else working through the Riddler. But that being said, what the Riddler has Batman do is actually really, really clever. I think I'll just go with the most extreme. Like I mentioned that, he makes Batman kill a dog and stuff. The most extreme and the most interesting, however, is that he gets a baby to swallow some ping pong balls. Or a ping pong ball, which, of course, a baby would choke on. Sorry, itchy nose. And the baby is sitting there choking, barely not able to breathe, and Batman's trying to, push it out. And, oh, God, sorry. I know, disgusting. Batman's sitting there trying to, Heimlich get the baby to get it out, but it's not working. And so he has to perform a tracheotomy. He has to slit a child's throat. That's really clever. That's really cool. That's really, really messed up. Again, it would be nicer if it was wholly the Riddler. And so, yeah, I like a lot about this story arc. I like how human it gets for Batman, because there's just, a woman trapped, a woman's body left under some cellar for centuries, and he finds it important to take it out and stuff, and give her a proper burial. And there's some interesting notions about what the city is. The demon, I think, is gone, but for the last 2 days its words have been running through my head. It waited for a man to set a trail of riddles and for a bat to follow them. It gave birth to the bat so he might free it. Gave birth. Gotham shaped me, and that it was on Gotham streets that you were killed. But what... talking about his parents. But was it the city or the demon? Accident or design? Environment? Zeitgeist? Biology? Demons? I shake my head, breathe deeply, try to forget it. You're born, and your history, your time, your place is a mold into which you're thrown. Does it make any difference if a few demons are behind it also? My parents are still just as dead. Gotham is still Gotham. I am still whatever I am. I like that. In the end of the day, maybe this was all because of some kind of horrible mystical force of Gotham, or maybe that was just part of the equation, or maybe it didn't really factor into it at all, and Batman just happened to fit it this time. I like that. So Dark Knight Dark City will not, I say, break my my top Riddler stories in any way. I mean, it's good. It's just not really a Riddler story. It's a story that uses the Riddler through another character, but in an interesting way. So I don't think it'd break my my top Riddler stories, but it's still well done. So let's talk about some of the other stuff that we have in here. We have a guy who has cursed grass, that if you step on some of it, anything violent that has happened, any, lingering ghosts that is happening in the area where you've stepped on the grass will come back and attack you. So there's like a couple leaving a theater, and a woman steps on some grass and immediately starts to choke her husband, trying to kill him because a man choked his wife for cheating on him on that exact spot where the grass was. And so you have this guy who's placed this grass all over the place, yada yada. And Batman is able to, outwit and stop him and win the day, as always, because he's Batman. This one I didn't really care for. I thought it was just okay. Again, just not a huge fan of the Supernatural and Batman together. The next one was really weird. I mean, there's a Siamese twin henchman with two heads called Two-Tone. I mean, not only does he have two heads, one is white and one is black. That's weird. I don't know how that works, but whatever. That seems like a shitty Bond villain. So Batman has to stop that. And this was the one that was not supernatural. There's an old assassin who only targeted, other criminals, like, mob criminals kind of things. You'd only take out mob guys. And Batman has to deal with him. And he's trying to capture this guy and send him back to prison while dealing with Two-Tone, who's been hired to kill the guy, and yada yada. There's some really weird art. Two-Tone kicks Batman in the face, and he talks about it breaking his jaw, but it just looks like Batman's, sucking on a jawbreaker the whole rest of the issue. That's the worst way to show a broken jaw, in my opinion. So it just looks like Batman. Oh, it looked really silly, but at the end of the day, he tries to give the assassin over to police, but the guy ends up escaping and says he's not gonna be killing anyone anymore, and so Bruce Wayne kind of hopes that he never comes back to Gotham, so he doesn't have to deal with him anymore. And then the last story arc, the last two stories, like I said, that one's just okay. The last one I really liked. It deals with an old Jewish guy living in Gotham's immigrant neighborhood, where that has slowly been traded out for a lot of Indian families. And there are a bunch of white supremacists running around, smashing up their shops and screwing with everything. And it's all, they're taking our heritage, blah blah blah, all that same crap that you always hear. And so this guy gets clay and creates what's called a golem. It's apparently some kind of Hebrew magic. In order to protect the neighborhood from these monsters. And this just worked better for me because the character works so much better in this. The old Jewish man is just a really well-rounded, really interesting character. And Batman trying to deal with this golem thing is also really, really fascinating. So yeah, I really like a lot of what's going on with that. That is just entirely a character story. Of course, Batman wins in the end, but just all the issues in this, it really fit for me in that story arc. It all just comes down to swastika. Oh, there's one thing I really like. The white supremacists go and kidnap the Jewish guy to try to figure out how to stop the golem. But before they take him out of his apartment, they hand him their spray paint can and tell him that they want him to vandalize his own apartment with swastikas. And the guy makes swastikas, trembles while he does it. But importantly, he has the edges go in the other direction, go counterclockwise as opposed to clockwise, which is the only difference between the Nazi swastika and the Asian or Indian swastika. For those that don't know, there is there are only so many shapes. So it's this weird little cultural thing that happened where two cultures came up with the exact same symbol, or very close, just one's clockwise, one's not, the exact same symbol for completely different meanings. So yeah, it's just a really neat little moment right there, and that's how Batman, the fact that he wrote it that way is what allows Batman to find him and save the day in the end. And then the final issue, our story, is called Identity Crisis. This one was interesting, and I liked it because it was a turn I was not expecting. Basically, Bruce Wayne goes to, he wakes up in the middle of a Gotham harbor wearing a tuxedo, and he doesn't know where he is or what he was doing last night. And he goes home, and Alfred's never heard of Batman. The Batcave isn't there, and there's another better Batman running around, and he doesn't know what's going on. And so you think it's going to be like a Perchance to Dream thing or something like that, where Batman, or we're following Bruce Wayne, but there's something else going on that reveals what, he's really been Batman the whole time. There's just some kind of villain tricking him. But in the end, we realize we haven't been following Bruce Wayne around the whole time. We're following a villain that tried to determine Batman's identity by reading his mind. And so Batman, being Batman, has a defense for that. I love it. So Batman confronts the villain as Bruce Wayne and says, "It's over, kid. Take a look at yourself." It's like, and so the guy realizes, "I was the synaptic kid, mutant mind reader extraordinaire. I entered Batman's mind to find out his true identity. I was going to blackmail him, pay or I spill the beans. But his mind was too strong. Wooey, did that mind fight me. Made me crazy. After I mind read him, I was wandering around in a black daze like my circuits had been melted, fell into Gotham River. That's when I woke up thinking I was Bruce Wayne." In what way did Batman make you crazy? He split his mind into two people. He was, or is, Batman and Bruce Wayne. So the Bruce Wayne my mind, in its battered delusion, thought it was a Bruce Wayne who wasn't Batman. Brilliant, eh? Hence all that weird stuff with the vanishing Batcave and Alfred knowing who I was. And then there's something else that covers that. He's really in a coma. He's just thinking that's what happened to him. So, yeah, very Grant Morrison there. Grant Morrison obviously pulls from some really interesting sources. So you have Batman separating, and you have Batman with a contingency plan for everything, including separating his identities as much as possible. So if someone tries to read his mind, they will be there's a backlash to it. I really like that. Good stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I really, really enjoyed this. Couple stories in the middle I didn't quite care for, but Dark Knight, Dark City was interesting. I enjoyed it overall. It's just Peter Milligan isn't really my taste for Batman. In general, he's got a very identifiable style with Batman of how he likes to write the character, and that's fine. And if you like the more supernatural Batman, that's fine. It's a perfectly valid version of Batman, and I have no problem with him being able to deal with those threats. It's just not my preference. But yeah, good book. Pretty good week. I was pretty happy with most everything for one reason or another. Black Panther, we'll see. I'll try to be patient with it, but we'll see. Predator, just okay, nothing great. Poe Dameron, again, same, just okay so far, just set up. Batman Beyond, I'm happy that Terry's going to be back and Tim Drake's leaving 18 days, finally getting the kind of thing I'm hoping for. And once again, we will have Wonder Woman on Geeky Gentleman sometime in the next couple weeks, as well as all the other Earth 1 books. We'll be discussing them as a whole. I hope you will tune in for that. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Comic Reviews. Remember, if you have a comic that is coming out, either an ongoing or a graphic novel, please leave it in the comments below. If it's an ongoing, I promise to pick up at least one issue and give you my thoughts on it. Or if it's a graphic novel, I will keep my eyes open, and if I find it, I will buy it right up and review it on the show for you. If you want to send me something, please get a hold of me in the comments, and we'll work something out, probably over the YouTube messaging system. Alright, thanks everyone. Bye.